So I'm not sure if you all heard the unfortunate news that NASCAR reneged and backtracked on their approval of the sponsorship of the Let's Go Brandon coin for Brandon Brown. Now this is problematic for a few reasons, right? Okay, one, the irony of this being a free speech coin. Although its origination obviously comes from people trolling Joe Biden, this coin was created as a free speech coin. And ironically, it was because a lot of people feel that Joe Biden and his ilk and his followers are extremely authoritative and are very pro-censorship. Okay, cool. So they approve of the sponsorship. I know they approve of the sponsorship because I made sure to talk to the people who were involved. And there was a press release right after it was done. Okay, all right. So now they renege on it. After NBC News covers it, after the mainstream media in general covers it, they made it seem as if there was never actual approval, except there was. In fact, Mr. Dale Howe, my apologies, was the one who signed his name on a dotted line. There was official approval. And now after the LGB coin got traction, after the sponsorship got a wide array of support, given of course that the phrase did originate in a NASCAR race, specifically with Brandon Brown, now there's an attempt to backtrack. Now, some people might say, well, it's because at its heart, it's political. There are two issues because of two cars with two, I won't say sponsors, but at least two different decals that beg to differ. In 2019, there was a racer who was allowed to have "Let's Go Trump." It's very explicit. That's clearly political. Okay. Then you have Bubba Wallace, who was able to put Black Lives Matter on his decal, which, although I wouldn't consider the idea of Black Lives being a political issue, a lot of people do. Right? And this is really about one side or the other feeling upset that there's a message being conveyed that is a political one. So it shows, one, a ridiculous level of inconsistency and hypocrisy on the part of NASCAR, but it shows, two, that someone who was in power or who didn't have power over NASCAR, influence at least significantly over NASCAR, who might actually have power now, push NASCAR to change their mind. Now, in my humble opinion, this is exactly why something needed to be put out there like the Let's Go Brandon coin that highlights free speech, because at every single turn, someone is making an attempt to violate a contract, violate an agreement. I mean, as a content creator myself, I have to deal with it, whether it be via YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc., etc. I have to deal with that regularly. People who had no problem with my creativity, my content, when it benefited them. However, when it went against their personal narrative, when it went against the powers that are influencing them, all of a sudden, it was problematic. Now, Brandon Brown and the LGB coin are going to, at least for the time being, respect the decision of NASCAR. However, what they are going to do is double down. That's what the James Coutelis, who is one of the founders of the LGB coin, said. They're going to double down. They're extending the contract and giving Brandon Brown assistance with personal affairs. He will be speaking at LGB events and vice versa. They will still have their branding everywhere except for on the car, because James and the LGB crew understand that free speech still has to be highlighted, and that one of the best ways to highlight anything nowadays is with a coin, some form of cryptocurrency, an NFT, etc., etc. It creates a fun and potentially lucrative incentive for people to be involved in advocating for something that they believe in. And obviously, as you all know, I do believe in free speech. It's something that I advocate for on a daily basis. I am what you would call a free speech absolutist. I believe that you cannot argue against hate speech with silence, but only with better, more informed speech. And so, Mr. James, with that response, will definitely be getting some more money out of me, because the fact that you all doubled down instead of backing off is something that I can personally relate to, because at a time where people wanted to back off me, not because my opinions were wrong, but because they were inconvenient, people believed in me, believed in the direction that we were going, and took a chance on me, much like you were taking a chance and doubling down on Brandon Brown and making sure in the coin and bucking the establishment in this particular case, despite the fact that the guy who is most pissed off, unfortunately, is sitting in the executive branch in the Oval Office. So that has seemed to inspire a lot of people to invest into LGB coin, and that is also once again part of the reason that NASCAR was seemingly forced, because they already proved it. The guy's name, Dale Howell's name, is on the approval. The press release was made to let these people spend their money, put out their press releases, etc., and then boom. And this is exactly why free speech needs to be highlighted. And I hope that there are more creative ways for people to highlight just how dangerous censorship is becoming. Because you never know. The whole censorship for you but not for me thing never lasts long. When it comes to the powers that be, it's censorship for everybody. So you might as well support something or someone who is for free speech before you can anymore. Like this video, share this video, but more than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace.